Hey, RB Bass Angler Ron Howe here coming at you. Talk a little bit about some springtime fishing up at Lake Oroville here in California. Been up the lake for a couple weeks in a row. Fishing was hit or miss. It was never great. Different types of reaction. Caught them on rip baits. I am a Flip 100. Actually caught them in the bone color. Pretty good. Caught them in kind of a ghost color as well. Pretty good. And that bite kind of seemed to shift a little bit. It was there one day, kind of not the next, and it really wanted a violent rip. I mean, you had to pop, 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 pop. And that real hard pop got you bites. Oroville's always notorious for a decent rip bait bite for some quality fish. So, the fish on the rip bait tend to be 2-pounders, right? They're just a little better fish. Had some Alabama rig fish going. It just seemed like that bite teetered and fizzled out over a few weeks' time. As the weather got warmer, that bite really just didn't take off like it should. Caught some fish, quite a bit of fish, throwing a ball head around. Not something I love to do, but a ball head with a small swim bait, anything about 3 inches and a shad color. Choose the brands you like. It honestly doesn't matter. Get up on the walls in that lake, cast it way out in front of the boat on light line. I'm throwing 6-pound test and just slow roll it with a spinning reel. And they just donk and low down on it. And caught quite a bit of fish doing that over a few weeks' time. Again, it'd be on one day, kind of off on the next trip. You just kind of got to figure them out each day what they're doing. The thing about Oroville is it really does fish like 5 different bodies of water. Even during the drought, there's plenty of room to launch, and there's plenty of water to run. So, you have the West Branch, the North Fork, the Middle Fork, and the South. Now, of those forks, the 3 that really have the main incoming water are the North, West, and Middle Fork. The South actually has a diversion dam over the top of it in the back, and water has to spill over the other lake to come into that fork. So didn't get all the way up to the top, so I really can't speak to that. But we caught fish in all the forks. We caught fish on the main body. The forks were definitely going better right now, and anywhere where there's pockets, there's fish. So a lot of spotted bass caught, a lot of spotted bass. Our better bites actually were coming on Senkos, stick baits. Whether you're throwing the Berkeley one or you're throwing the Yamamoto one, honestly, it didn't matter. They kind of ate them all. Shaking it. Caught them on baby bass, natural shad, and green pumpkin melon. Only 3 colors I used on that lake. That'll get you some bites. They seem to be dropping the Senko quite a bit, and I don't know if that's just they're used to seeing it after all these years or not, but they would pick it up and drop it, pick it up and drop it. So we made some adjustments and switched around. Me and my partner Tim Meeks fishing the Wild West Bass Trail. We were able to finish top 10, took 7th place out of 145 boats with 30 something I think we had. Our fish came on Senkos and dart heads. And despite fishing aggressive with rip baits and spinner baits and Alabama rigs and ball heads, and we caught fish that way, but we culled all those fish. Our better fish came on dart heads, 4.5 and 7-inch, morning dawn or purple. And most of those fish came 10 to 30 feet deep. They're moving up and down steep spots. They were by chunky boulders and or sand areas that have the little stick-ups. Those were 2 of the key things that we found bites on this year. When you find them, they're going to be schooled up. So if you're not getting bit, by all means, fire up the big motor and go take a pretty good sizable run and go somewhere else. Because there's some areas of very dead water, and there's some areas that the fishing is really, really good. So knowing that it sets up like 5 different lakes, one day the North Fork might be better, one day the South Fork could be better, one day the West Branch could be better. You really need to cover water on Lake Oroville to find where the schools of fish are at. Any point has a lot of bucks right now. So if you just want to go have fun and you go point to point to point to point, Berkeley hitworm and green pumpkin, caught a lot of fish on that with a dart head. And I'd get up on points, and one of the keys was, even though the lake's been dropping, it had to be flat under the boat. In other words, if I was next to the bank and under my boat was 55 foot deep, I wasn't catching fish. But if I was near the bank and under the boat was 30 feet deep, I was catching fish very shallow, 10 to 15 feet. Most of those were bucks, but provided good sport and a lot of numbers. There is a topwater bite on Oroville. Been for a little bit. It gets better with the warm weather. It can shut off when it gets cool. Catching spotted bass predominantly, but this time of year as it warms up, the better quality spots will come up to eat a topwater walking bait. I am a skimmer, spook type baits, any of that kind of stuff, natural shad, bone, those type colors are going to get bites. chasing largemouth on that lake. I've had success over the years. This year I did not find very many because they just weren't in the areas I fish yet. But chasing them, you want to go up the forks into pockets and coves that have wood, such as the West Branch, some of the Middle Fork, some of the South Fork. And there is largemouth in the North Fork, don't get me wrong. It just doesn't set up as well for them. So those three areas in the main body are where more largemouth are going to be at, like Potter's Ravine. Good things to do for throwing for largemouth up there right now. Maybe TNT baits, jigs, like the spotted bass M80 series on lake, just like smaller profile stuff on Oroville overall. But green pumpkin, brown jigs are going to catch largemouth bass. Morning Dawn drop shot, 4.5-inch flare tip worm. Your favorite stick bait, green pumpkin melon, is the only color you need up there to throw to catch largemouth. And of course, soon they'll move over to eating the topwater as well. Poppers and walking baits. So you want to have fun, go to Lake Oroville. Yes, the lake's low. It's higher than last year. There's plenty of places to launch. Bidwell Canyon's perfectly fine, and it'll hold about 85 boats with no issues. So get up to Lake Oroville if you're taking a kid or a friend and you just want to have fun catching bass. This is one of the best lakes now through summer to catch numbers. So hit up Lake Oroville, California. Have yourself some fun. Ron Howe, RB Bass, checking out. Have a good one.